I'm having a landscaper tear out everything that was up front here. If I get a chance to edit this video, I'll show you some before and after. But the key point I want to share here is soil health and biology. One of the reasons the trees, the grass, the ferns, everything grows so quickly here in this space is because of superior soil biology. And it's something we've done on purpose. Now, this was a nursery bed under here. And by the way, I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. This is a nursery bed we had under here where we're propagating irises, trees, and other plants. As you can see, there's some irises in there that they're going to take out. And there were a bunch of potted plants that are going over to another property. But you can see the dark color in the soil. That is captured carbon. So near the base of the house, it's more of a clay. And then as you slope away from the house, it turns into more of a carbon base, what they call a keck. It's its ability to hold nutrients. And then what you'll see what happens here is grass starts to form. So there's a little bit of grass in here, and you can see the potting mix that they dumped out over here. You're going to get tremendous and massive growth. Now, this used to be a mulch bed here, mulch path. There's actually brick under here. And as that mulch broke down, it created quality soil. Here's another example here. Now, this soil was dark and rich, and being exposed to the sun, the soil itself is going to start to degrade. So we want to protect our soil from the solarization. The ultraviolet rays and stuff will kill the soil biology, but ultimately this soil is a mixture of just broken down organic matter, crushed charcoal, the roots of previous plants, and it produces a quality soil. You can see over here the same thing. Now I'm going to actually take, and this is a very important lesson, I'm going to take about probably about 50 pounds of this soil and use it as inoculant in the next batch of soil that I'm going to create. So all of this material here that's stacked up will become compost, and we're going to do this out on a different property, but they'll turn it into compost, and then I will mix in some of this soil so that we can inoculate that batch and continue to make high quality soil. There's mushroom compost in here. None of this stuff was shipped in, but when I was creating mushrooms or doing mushroom logs, like an expired mushroom log, I would put them in these beds. You can see over here is another bed. There were hundreds and hundreds of bulbs. The bulbs are still, see here again, difference, the clay soil, cultivated soil, but there are hundreds and hundreds of bulbs in here. And these bulbs will be saved and used elsewhere. I'm just going to put them in a corner. But my point being here is that the right soil creates massive growth. But the right soil in the wrong place creates growth that's very hard to manage. And that's why, again, I am having a landscaper pull out all of these materials so that they can reset the, reset the landscaping. But those ferns, again, growing wild like crazy. And then we have things like perilla. This is actually an edible plant here. It's used in Korean and Japanese cuisine. And so how do we get this level of soil? Well, first off, it's composting in place. The value of chop and drop. So when you're chopping and dropping in the beds, you're turning all this excess and surplus biomaterial into soil. What's the process? Well, the process is that wood chips, that plant material is all feed for microorganisms, the biology of the soil itself. And so what's happening here is you're getting a combination of microbes, combination of nutrients, green and brown materials. That creates the compost. But we go one level further by inoculating the soil with high quality soil we found on other locations. So we take some of that biology there, we might rinse it with water and then put that water on the ground. We might mix it into a compost pile to kind of grow that colony of bacteria. We may add soured milk, fermented product, mushroom compost, other things to add fungi and different types of mold biology, such and such. Then it goes one step further because those items are food for worms, earthworms. So finally you start getting this crumbly soil here. Look at that crumbly soil because of a complete cycle. Now it can take hundreds of years to make a few inches of topsoil in the wild, in a natural environment. We're accelerating that process by using composting methods, by using chop and drop, by using layering and other elements that are bringing in material. See, the forest takes so long to create the soil because it's leaf drop, it's grass, falling over time, it's animal manures, it's interactions in the environment. We are accelerating those interactions with manual labor or human labor in order to make quality, good soil. Now, when I say manual labor, you don't have a lot of labor required, and of course you don't have to till. All these were actually in beds, raised beds, but it can get out of control. And so these particular beds, I don't know if I'll get a chance to insert a before and after picture, but these particular beds were growing about chest high, and they had some plants that had rooted through the pot and then actually got into the soil because there was a lot of plant stock here. So that's plant stock, and that's the root of honey locust. And honey locust spreads pretty readily. What we're doing is we're going to rip all this out and replace it with grass. I need to make this more appealing to the neighborhood. You can see the tall grass that was out over there has all been chopped down because we're basically going to move to a bigger property. The key thing about what we're doing here, though, is that we're working with nature. We're working with aquatic systems. We're working with plant systems, how quickly plants can grow. We're working with soil biology. And so you do need all of those factors in order to get the results that you're looking for when it comes to growing more food, when it comes to a healthy, valuable habitat or environment, and when it comes to managing your land, managing for erosion, managing for the different aspects that you're going to face at your small farm, homestead, or estate. So I just wanted to give you a run through about the quality soil, and you can see the color differences between soil. Soil that's kind of clay looking is actually more clay content. We don't want that. We want a lot of organic matter. Soil with a large amount of organic matter or captured carbon is going to be more brown to black. And then soil that is really black may have biochar in it or other types of captured carbon. And then it starts getting a little bit oily because the microbes are actually in the soil itself. The biology itself starts making a film, and that film captures additional nutrients, carbon molecules, and a lot more. And so if you want to learn more about this, there's a number of programs on soil biology. We could go into detail, but again, it's not hard to do. It has more benefits than risks, but the major benefit is this stuff grows wild. So make sure you're growing and building soil in appropriate places. And if you're building it around the house, for example, like all of this soil could be excavated out with a shovel. Not, don't have to get equipment. Could be excavated out and used to top dress a lawn. It could be used to supplement a garden bed. It could be used in other ways. So the methods that I'm teaching you is about soil building. It's about building up the habitat and ecology, and then understanding what creates quality soil is going to allow you to produce more garden beds, produce larger growing areas, and ultimately keep that quality and healthy biology going. I want to thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. I'm Justin Hitt with Prosperity Homestead. If you have questions about this or anything else we cover, visit www.prosperityhomestead.org. Go to the contact page, ask your questions. Otherwise, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.